Now here's can I ask you to give us some optimism here? That's all I'm asking. So give us the glass half full on this. Zidane tried to sell us on this. His way of selling us on this was that it says unrelated to his ankle. This will pass. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, are you really asking a Scotsman for optimism? That's not what we do.
A Scottish Atleti supporter at that.
Yeah, exactly. We don't do optimism. We just do pessimism. Even supporting Atleti, of course, you want to see the best players in La Liga, even more so when some of the best ones are leaving every summer. So it's a shame. I feel like Hazard hasn't really been in La Liga yet. We've not seen him properly yet. But I guess the optimism is it's not the same injury. And going into the season, I was concerned about Hazard because that ankle injury, he suffered it once in that PSG game. He had the relapse against Levante. When he came back after lockdown, he just wasn't right either, and that was because of the ankle. This time, it's not the ankle, it's a muscle injury, but I feel like it's all connected. Look at Bale. Bale had a few of the same recurrent injuries, but a lot of them were different. It was many different injuries, and once you get one or two, you suffer more and more injuries because first of all your body is imbalanced. You're working up so much on one side and it gets imbalanced. Just look at the example of Chimi Avila at Osasuna. He did his ACL in one knee around about January time of last season, came back, was ready to go when La Liga resumed earlier in September, and immediately did his other ACL in the other knee. And that's common because you work so much on weight and balance on one side and you get all out of sync and your body just it takes some time to fully recover. So I do worry that it's going to take Hazard a while to fully get back into shape. By all accounts, he came back from the summer much better physically than he had last season. So I don't know. It's supposed to be a month that he's out. We'll see what it's like. The good news is, I guess, that there's an international break coming up. So about 10 days of that month, there aren't even any Real Madrid games. So let's see what he's like when he comes back. But you just feel the more injuries a player has on their body, especially at Hazard's age, he's not so young anymore, the more likely you are to suffer the next one.
Well, you failed at giving us optimism, so thank you for that.
I told you I would. I told you I would. We don't do that.
My
That's Irish for optimism.
well, I'm Canadian and I'm kind of defeated here, but I would say, well, just to make this even more doom and gloom. I don't mean to be. I'm just trying to see it for what it is. In my Instagram live video before the game, somebody asked me, will he be back for the Clásico? And my answer was obviously not, but it made me think about a deeper discussion in that it kind of gives you a picture of how far away it actually could potentially be, right? Because if we're saying that he's going to be out for 1 month, is it really 1 month? Because to me, it's actually 3 months. And the reason I say that is because 1 month is when he'll be back. 1 month is not the date where he's going to be on the field to me. Because by the time he comes back, you don't know who's in form, who's out of form. And also, Zidane is not going to be desperate to bring him back because that position is so stacked with wingers, right? We were discussing on the podcast on Tuesday the fact that Rodrigo was a left winger at Santos and he's barely there because he plays on the right wing because Hazard and Vinicius there. And we could put a lot of players on the left wing. We could switch up the scheme. There are a lot of options without Hazard. Okay, so the dependency on him is almost non-existent at this point because he just hasn't featured much. So there will be no rush to bring him back. Is my point. By the time you do bring him back after a month, you're going to ease him in. He makes one sub appearance, maybe a couple sub appearances. Then he starts. Okay, he's going to start eventually because his name is Eden Hazard. When he starts, he's going to need rhythm, okay? So to me, this is more, in my brain, this is a 2 to 3 month project of getting him back, assuming he doesn't have a relapse.
Yeah, so you're basically saying that he'll be in peak condition for Belgium at next summer's Euros.
This is the issue. I mean, this is what we went into with Gareth Bale, right? Train with Real Madrid, get healthy for Wales. That's what it was.
That was the thing. So this is the other point. So that obviously we're in a different time zone. So sort of followed this news as it was happening, and just before the medical report came out from Real Madrid, it was revealed that Hazard was in the Belgium squad for the next fixtures in October, but on a condition of Belgium were only going to actually bring him in if he played Real Madrid's 2 games before then. So if he played against Real Valladolid and if he played against Levante, Belgium would say, okay, that's fair enough. He's at a certain level, we'll bring him in. If he had played both those games, Belgium said they would let him stay at Real Madrid. And then, of course, just a couple of hours later, a medical report came out. And also, rather selfishly for myself, I was about to sit down to lunch, and that happened. So, but I suppose I had to wait for lunch for 15 minutes. Hazard has to wait a month before being able to play. You got to feel sorry for him because this whole injury crisis he's really suffered. Okay, he came back a little bit overweight at the start of last season, but really this injury started from a contact injury on the ankle from McTear in that PSG game. That's no fault of his own, and it really set him back. By the time he really gets back into it, a full year of his career.